Sorry. Yeah, no, the crimes here are very strange. So I guess there's this. This is so weird. I don't even know how to like. So what to know about Jen Shah's legal drama from arrest to prison sentence? What? The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jen Shah was sentenced to 6.5 years or 78 months in prison for wire fraud on Friday, January 6th. Shah's attorney, Priya Chaudhry, the assistant U.S. attorney, and Shah herself gave closing statements to Judge Stein before reading out the sentencing. My actions have hurt innocent people, Shah said during the hearing, per Inner City Press. I want to apologize by saying I'm doing all I can to earn the funds to pay restitution. Shah was ordered to surrender to prison on February 17th, 2023. Her attorney requested a prison in the Texas region with minimum security, to which Judge Stein agreed, but didn't assign a specific facility. The Bravo Bertie pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection with telemarketing on July 11th, 2022. Shah appeared in court in New York City for a surprise hearing and changed her previous not guilty plea 1 week before she was set to stand trial. Despite facing a maximum of 30 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release, she called for only 11 to 14 years behind bars and a restitution of up to $9.5 million. Here is a brief summary of some of the important information about her legal woes. She was arrested on March 30th, 2021 for allegedly scamming hundreds of people out of money, specifically targeting those over 55 through a telemarketing scheme that spanned 6 states. She had initially denied the claims and swore to fight the charges. So was she arrested while filming The Real Housewives? She was arrested while filming. She was arrested while filming The Real Housewives in an episode that aired on Bravo on November 7th, 2021. At the time of her arrest, she was with her co-stars and they were getting ready to leave on a cast trip to Vail, Colorado. However, after receiving a phone call from an unnamed person, Shah claimed her husband, Sharif, was in the hospital with internal bleeding and needed to leave. Shah bailed on the trip as Homeland Security New York Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation showed up looking for her. She was arrested off camera. What has she been accused of? Shah was initially charged with one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection with telemarketing and one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. When did she plead not guilty for wire fraud? During a video hearing on April 2nd, 2021, she pleaded not guilty to the 2 charges against her. Prosecutors blasted her as being the highest level of fraud that netted her at least $5 million in crime proceeds. Additionally, the U.S. District Judge Sidney Stein, who presided over the entire case, agreed that Shah was a flight risk and restricted her to travel to Utah, parts of New York, in Washington, D.C., and ordered her to turn over her passport. Oh my God. Will the fraud trial go on as planned? Shah's initial trial, which had been rescheduled multiple times since its original October 2021 date, was slotted to take place on July 18th, 2022. However, the trial has been canceled and she was sentenced on January 6, 2023, after changing her plea to guilty on July 11th, 2022. How long will she be in jail? 5 years, 28 months behind bars, and 5 years of supervised release once out. Stein could have sentenced her up to 30 years, but her plea deal called for 11 to 14. Prior to her sentencing, she submitted a request that her sentence be reduced to 3 years, while the government requested 10 years. Shah's sentence was decreased from an original maximum of 50 years after the U.S. attorney agreed to drop the count of conspiracy to commit money laundering due to her plea deal. Stuart Smith, who was Shah's main assistant, was arrested the same day as the TV star. He was charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud in connection with telemarketing, 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, and 1 count of obstructing an official proceeding. He originally pleaded not guilty. However, on November 2021, he changed his plea to guilty and even agreed to testify against Shah. His new sentencing date has not been scheduled. I knowingly and intentionally discussed and engaged with other individuals to develop a plan or operation to obtain money by false representation by offering and inducing individuals, many of whom were over 50 years of age or older, to provide money to entities that I and others were involved with. Smith, who is now awaiting sentencing, said during his hearing. What has she said about the plea deal? I'm innocent and look forward to trial so you, along with everyone else, can see the truth. As this bitch goes to jail. Well, she said, I'm fighting this. I'm innocent. A fucking liar. What have the co-stars said about her? You can read the rest of this shit if you want to, but that's crazy. I don't know. That popped up and I didn't even understand.